Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my little kitchen. I'm Rhonda, and this is Mossy Acres. I'm so glad you could join me this morning for peaches. What we're going to do is I've got 3 bags of peaches, and they are perfectly ripe. So tomorrow, they're going to start getting overripe. So today, at peak of perfection, we're going to want to get them into our jars. I'm going to just can them, water bath can them with some simple syrup, and then I can decide what I want to do with them on the day I'm going to use them. I can thicken them up and make a peach pie, or we could just have peaches in a bowl for dessert, a nice easy dessert, or we could make peach ice cream, whatever we want to do. The sky's the limit when you put them in simple syrup. So we're going to start off, we're just going to peel our peaches. Now some people will, sorry, I got to get my peeler here, 1 second. And I always like to tell you if I find something good. And this peeler from Rada knives, I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that, but they make they make great knives, and this peeler is fantastic. Now a lot of people will go ahead and blanch their peaches to get the skins to come off real easy. I just find it easier to just peel them. Just, I'd rather not have to boil the water, and the peels come off really easy when they're super ripe. So as you can see, I did switch to this knife because peeling them, it's literally just pulling off the peach right now. So that's going to be totally easy to get these peeled. And then once I get them peeled, these are Freestone peaches. They're the only ones I want to work with, because I tell you what, those ones that are clingstone, you can't get them off the stone, and it just frustrates me. So I wait until the good ones are ready, and that's always normally at the end of summer. But you're just going to cut around your peach. I twist it in my hand, and you see how easy that came open, no big deal, and then it just practically falls out when they're ripe. And then very easily, I've got my ball jar here. I'm just going to slice it into the jar. And you're going to pack them as full as you can, as tight as you can, up to, like 1 inch of head space. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is your product's going to float, which is no big deal. It's not going to hurt anything. It just looks prettier, and you get more peaches in there when you pack those little buggers in. So I'm going to go ahead and get these peeled and put into their jars. I'm not going to make you watch all of that because that would be pretty boring. And then when I come back, we'll get them, we'll talk about the simple syrup and get them canned up. Thanks, guys. All cut up and ready to go. And I got 3 quarts of peaches. So I'm probably going to put 2 in a pie. You can do 1, but I like my pie full of peaches. So there's a pie and a half, or a pie and a, we could make something else. So, and now I'm just going to add my simple syrup to these. And simple syrup is just going to be, I've got 6 cups of water and to 2 cups of sugar. And I'm just going to put that on there. Now my peaches are cold, my jars are cold. My simple syrup is not hot. I heated it up to dissolve the sugar, and then I just let it cool back down, because I'm going to put these, so it's going to be slightly warm. It's not going to be, enough shock to break my jar. I don't ever want to break a jar, because I don't want to lose these awesome peaches. So we're going to get that simple syrup in there, and then I'm going to put them in my water bath canner. I've got my small one today because, again, it's only 3 jars. So I'm going to do my small water bath canner, and we're just going to water bath can those for 15 minutes, just long enough to get that top to seal, because I really don't want to cook the peaches, like heavily, because then when I put them in a pie, they would be mush, and that wouldn't be very yummy, would it? So, all right, I'll be right back, and we'll get these water bath canned. All right, so let's get our simple syrup put in on our peaches. Try not to spill it, because it is sticky. There we go. And again, it's warm. My jars are warm from being washed. One more. Okay, move to the next one. And our last one. Again, if you have any of your simple syrup left over after this, you could always just pop it in the fridge and keep it until, if you know you're going to be canning something else up that you're going to want a simple syrup on. It'll stay in there for a couple of days in the fridge. But this is going to use up quite a bit of this, so there we go. And again, I always tell you, I'm always singing the praises of these 4-jar funnels. They're amazing, and the 4-jar lids are just as good. I love them. 4 jars makes a good product. Again, not affiliated. I just like to tell you when I find a product that works good. So let me grab my lids and my rings. Stay right there. I got my rings over here. All right. So I've got my lids and my rings, and we want to wipe our rings. I just use a little white vinegar. I got this little handy dandy holder here because you don't want anything sticky on top of your jar lid, because anything gets in between that and the rubber seal on these 4-jar lids, and it's going to cause trouble. Oh, and I got the big ones, and I need the little ones. Hold on one second. Let me get those little ones. All right, Crazy Rhonda got the right lids this time. Let's put those on. And again, we're just doing fingertip tight. But I have never had an issue with these 4-jar lids. They're amazing. All right, so I've got my water bath canner right here. Let's put these guys in. Okay, guys. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but I can tell it's at a rolling boil. So you take the lid off and you see that it is at a rolling boil. So let's get that lid back on, and we set our timer for 15 minutes. The little bee will tell us when it's ready. Oh, little bee says we're done. All right. There you go. So we are just going to shut that off. And I want to cool these down slowly. I always take my time. I don't want things to boil over or siphon, as they say in the canning world. So I'm just going to take that lid off. And then we will let that sit for a minute or two, and then we'll slide it off that hot burner for about 5 minutes, and then we'll take them out. So I won't make you wait. I'll bring you back when I show you what I'm doing. Alrighty, we're going to take our jars out of our hot water bath canner. Please be very careful when you do this. You don't want to get hurt, and you don't want to get burned. You make sure you've got a jar lifter to do this. Makes it very easy. And as you can see, the product is beautiful. But remember how I said, even though we filled those as good as we could, as tight as we could, you're going to get some floating. And then I just sit them on this little mat so that they can cool. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So we've got 3 more jars for the shelf. And you're probably thinking, 3 jars, is it even worth it? But you know what? We're doing this on a scaled down version because it's just me and Jay, unless it's the weekend and the kids are over. So yeah, I don't need a whole bunch of stuff, but I have put up over 200 jars this summer from the garden and from going to the produce sale. I put 200 jars on the shelves, So we are good for winter. And now I'm just going to let these sit here until they seal. And then once they've sat here for about 24 hours, I'll take the rings off. I'll wash my jars. I'll label them. And we'll get them on the shelf. Because I always tell myself, oh, I'll remember when I did that or what it is. Now, obviously, I would not forget what it is. I can see the product in this one really good. But I'll forget when I canned these. And maybe I use them in the next year, which is what my goal is. But maybe I won't use them in the next year. And I'll know, oh, hey, I canned those late fall of 25. Now, I am really looking forward to apple season. We do have an apple tree up at our camp, and I've bought my own apple picker this year, so I'm really excited about. It's not going to be a great apple season for that tree. We started out really cold and massively wet this year here in Pennsylvania, and then we went completely into the 90s with no rain. So the tree literally lost all its leaves. So all that's on it now are apples. So we'll see how those apples turn out. But again, I can hit the farmer's market right down at the bottom of the hill from my house, and I can get apples from a local farmer that I know are going to be just as delicious as mine. And then we're going to be making some apple sauce, apple butter, and apple pie filling. And so I'm very excited about that. And I'll bring you along on that journey too. So for today, I thank you for joining me for canning these peaches. And if there's anything you'd like to see me can, let me know, because again, I just started this journey last year in 24, so I'm still learning and we can learn together. Any questions, any comments, please let me know. Thank you for joining me and have a blessed day.